Have you ever wondered why some people seem to age so slowly? Their hair turns silver, sure, but their spirit, their energy, their zest for life, that stays youthful for decades. And maybe you've noticed that it's not always the people who go to the gym every day or eat fancy supplements. Sometimes it's the quiet gardener in her 80s, the retired teacher who still walks to the market, or the grandfather who plays with his grandkids like he's 40 years younger. What's their secret? Well, today, we're going to peek into the lives of people who live in some of the healthiest, longest-living communities in the world, places known as the Blue Zones. These are small corners of the globe where people routinely live into their 90s and even past 100, and they're not just alive, they're thriving. No fancy pills. No extreme workouts. Just simple, powerful ways of living that help them stay strong, independent, and joyful. And here's the beautiful part, you don't have to move to a mountain village in Sardinia or a remote island in Japan to benefit. These longevity lessons can be brought right into your living room, your kitchen, even your backyard, no matter where you are or how old you are right now. Let's start with the first thing these centenarians have in common. It's not a diet or a supplement. It's purpose. In Okinawa, Japan, they have a word, ikigai. It means the reason to wake up in the morning. In Nicoya, Costa Rica, they call it plan de vida, your life plan. It's more than just staying busy. It's about feeling that you still matter. That you still contribute. That your life has meaning, even after retirement. Think about it. How do you feel when you have something to look forward to? When your grandchild is coming over for a visit, or when you're teaching someone how to cook your favorite recipe, or when you're volunteering, or even tending to your garden with care. That sense of purpose gives your day structure. It gives your heart a reason to keep beating strong. People in blue zones don't stop living just because they're no longer working a job. They find purpose in family, in faith, in friendship. And yes, even in simple daily routines. One 102-year-old woman in Okinawa wakes up every day to tend her plants and sweep the steps of the local temple. Another in Loma Linda, California, writes letters to shut-ins from her church every week. They don't call it exercise. They don't call it a wellness plan. They just call it life. And you can do that too. Maybe your purpose is caring for a pet, or sharing stories with younger generations, or starting that small painting project you've always dreamed of. It doesn't have to be big. It just has to matter to you. Now, here's the second thing these long-living communities have in common, and this one might surprise you. They move, but not in the way you might think. There are no gym memberships in most of these places. No daily CrossFit routines. Instead, movement is baked right into their everyday life. They walk to visit neighbors. They work in the garden. They knead dough by hand. They sweep. They stand up and sit down often. It's a kind of gentle, natural movement that happens all day long. In Sardinia, you'll see older men herding sheep across hills. In Ikaria, Greece, women in their 90s still sweep their yards and knead their own bread. In Costa Rica, they get up and down from the floor many times a day without thinking about it. It keeps their legs and core strong, and their balance sharp. And here's the takeaway, it's not about burning calories or getting six-pack abs. It's about staying in motion. Because when you stop moving, your joints stiffen. Your muscles shrink. Your world starts to shrink too. But when you move, just a little, but often, you keep everything working. So even if you don't feel up for a walk around the block today, maybe just walk to the mailbox twice instead of once. Maybe stretch while you're watching your favorite show. Maybe stand while you talk on the phone. These tiny, natural moments of movement, they add up. And over time, they protect your body, your brain, and your sense of independence. And here's something to keep in mind, people in blue zones don't move because they feel guilty. They move because it's part of how they live, how they connect, how they contribute. So try to find joy in the movement. Put on your favorite song and dance in the kitchen while you make your tea. Or go outside and water the plants, even if it's just one pot. Let movement feel like living, not like a chore. Let's take a breath here. Because what we're talking about isn't about turning your life upside down. It's about tuning in to what brings you joy, to what keeps you active, to what gives your day meaning. And when you begin to live this way, on purpose and in motion, something amazing happens. You feel more alive, more grounded, more like you. Watching and feel that these insights are meaningful. Please type number 2 in the comments to let me know you're still with me. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I warmly invite you to do so, and don't forget to turn on the bell, so you won't miss any of our upcoming videos designed to uplift, inform, and inspire. Your support truly means a lot. It's what keeps us going and allows us to continue sharing thoughtful, helpful content just for you. Now, let's continue this journey together. You know, the more I learned about these blue zones, the more I realized that none of their longevity secrets come from fancy supplements or complicated health trends. It's all about the way they live, day in and day out. And one of the most surprising things that stood out to me was how much they move, but not in the way you might think. People in blue zones don't necessarily go to the gym, do high-intensity workouts, or run marathons. What they do instead is keep their bodies moving naturally throughout the day. They garden, they sweep their front porches, they cook meals from scratch, and they walk, constantly. Not as a chore, but as part of their life. Let's take Okinawa, Japan, for example. Many of the older folks there still tend their own gardens well into their 90s, even past 100. They get up and down from the floor multiple times a day because they sit on tatami mats. Their daily life builds strength, balance, and flexibility, without them ever thinking of it as exercise. It made me pause and think, maybe it's not about doing 10,000 steps a day or sticking to a rigid fitness routine. Maybe it's about moving in ways that feel natural, enjoyable, and sustainable. So if you're watching this and thinking, well, I'm not a fan of exercise, don't worry. You don't need to be. Just ask yourself, how can I build more natural movement into my day? It could be as simple as taking your time at the grocery store and carrying your own bags. Or rearranging a corner of your yard and planting a few vegetables, even in pots. Maybe you dance while you're cooking or do a bit of light cleaning every morning instead of rushing through it. All these small movements add up. And over time, they help keep your body strong, your joints limber, and your heart happy. But physical movement is only part of the picture. Another powerful lesson from the blue zones is the way they connect with other people. Social connection isn't just something that's nice to have. It's deeply tied to how long, and how well, we live. In Sardinia, Italy, men in their 90s still gather in the village square to play cards and laugh with friends. In Costa Rica, families often live together across 3 generations, supporting each other daily. In Loma Linda, California, members of the Adventist community come together regularly for potlucks, walks, and worship. These are not casual friendships. They're deep, dependable, and built into everyday life. People in blue zones don't just have someone to call when things go wrong. They have people who show up, day after day. They eat together, talk together, walk through life together. And here's what the science tells us, loneliness is just as harmful as smoking or obesity. That's right, being isolated can take years off your life. But the good news is, the opposite is also true. Staying socially connected can protect your brain, reduce stress, and even lower your risk of heart disease. If that makes you feel a little sad, maybe you've lost people close to you, or your circle has gotten smaller with age, you're not alone. But here's the encouraging part, it's never too late to reach out and build new connections. It might be as simple as chatting with your neighbor over the fence, joining a local walking group, or picking up the phone and calling someone you haven't spoken to in a while. One woman I spoke to recently started a weekly tea hour with a few other ladies in her building. Nothing fancy, just tea, cookies, and conversation. But she told me it's the highlight of her week. It gives her something to look forward to. That's the power of connection. It doesn't have to be big. It just has to be real. And one more thing about the people in blue zones, they have a sense of purpose. They wake up in the morning knowing they matter. In Okinawa, they call it ikigai. In Costa Rica, it's plan de vida. Both translate loosely to reason for being. This doesn't mean they're chasing big goals or careers. Their purpose might be taking care of grandchildren, making meals for their family, sharing stories with neighbors, or continuing a beloved craft. It's about feeling useful, valued, and needed. And honestly, that struck a chord with me. Because I think here in modern life, especially after retirement, it's easy to feel like we're just drifting. That we've already done our part and now we're just waiting for time to pass. But that couldn't be further from the truth. There's so much still ahead. You have wisdom that younger generations desperately need. You have stories that deserve to be heard. You have the power to brighten someone's day simply by showing up. Whether it's volunteering at a library, mentoring someone, or even just tending to your home with love, it all matters. Finding purpose doesn't mean changing the world. It might just mean changing someone's moment. And that, I believe, is what keeps us alive, not just breathing, but truly alive. So think about it. What gets you out of bed in the morning? What brings you joy? What makes you feel like you belong? When you answer those questions, you're already halfway to a longer, richer life. And there's something else about these blue zone communities that's worth paying attention to. It's not just what they eat, or how much they move, or even how tight-knit their communities are. It's how they approach life with a sense of purpose. In Okinawa, Japan, they call it ikigai. In Nicoya, Costa Rica, they call it plan de vida. Both translate roughly to the same idea, having a reason to get up in the morning. Now, let's pause for a second. What gets you out of bed each day? Is it your grandkids? Your garden? A hobby? A promise you made to yourself long ago? When we lose our sense of purpose, when we feel like we're just drifting, that's when aging speeds up. But the people in the blue zones? They don't just retire from work. They retire into a new chapter. A chapter that still feels full, meaningful, and worth showing up for. Purpose doesn't have to be big or flashy. It can be the joy of baking bread for your neighbor, walking your dog every morning, or teaching someone how to play an old song on the piano. One 102-year-old woman in Sardinia said her purpose was making people smile. That was it. And you know what? That's more than enough. When we feel like we matter, when we believe we still have something to give, it does something powerful to our bodies and our minds. It lowers stress. It sharpens memory. It even boosts the immune system. And the beautiful thing is, purpose isn't something you have to chase. It's something you choose, right here, right now, in your daily life. So far, we've talked about food, movement, connection, and purpose. These aren't complicated ideas. But together, they form a blueprint for a long, meaningful, and joyful life. And here's the good news, you don't have to live in a blue zone to enjoy the benefits. You can build your own, right where you are. You can create your own mini Sardinia in your home by cooking with fresh vegetables, using olive oil, sitting down to a family-style meal, and telling stories at the table. You can bring a little Okinawa into your living room by doing gentle stretches, keeping your mind sharp with games or puzzles, and reaching out to loved ones just to say, "I'm thinking of you." You can walk your neighborhood like they do in Ikaria, at a slow pace, enjoying the breeze, waving to familiar faces. And maybe, just maybe, you can remind yourself that aging doesn't mean becoming less. It means becoming more aware of what matters, more free to do the things you love, and more grateful for the time you still have. Aging isn't a punishment. It's a privilege. Every line on your face, every ache in your bones, it's proof that you've lived. That you've made it through things others couldn't. And if the people in the world's oldest, healthiest communities can show us anything, it's that the second half of life can be the most vibrant of all. So if you're watching this and thinking, "It's too late for me," I want you to toss that thought away right now. It's never too late to make a small change. It's never too late to call someone you love, to take a walk, to cook a healthy meal, or to find your own purpose again. And you don't have to do it all at once. Start with one thing. Maybe today, You put a few more colorful veggies on your plate. Tomorrow, you call an old friend. The day after that, you take a walk around the block and wave at your neighbor. These little changes? They add up. They compound. And over time, they build a life that feels not just longer, but richer, fuller, and more joyful. You have so much more living to do. So much more to offer. And the beauty of life is that it doesn't matter where you begin. What matters is that you begin. So tell me in the comments, what's one small thing you're going to try this week? Maybe it's adding some beans to your lunch. Maybe it's sitting in the sun for 10 minutes. Maybe it's writing in a journal or stretching in the morning. I'd love to hear from you. Let's build a little Blue Zone community right here on this channel. And if this video inspired you even a little, give it a thumbs up, share it with a friend, and subscribe for more helpful tips on healthy aging and joyful living. This channel is all about helping you thrive, no matter your age. Here's to living with purpose, love, and laughter for many, many more years to come. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for spending time with us today. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Leave a comment below and share one thing you learned from this video and how you plan to apply it in your life. Your insights mean a lot to us and give us the motivation to keep spreading positivity and practical advice. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone you care about. Your support truly helps us continue creating meaningful content that informs, inspires, and uplifts. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.